This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom, words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I hope that you'll consider this your vitamin or supplement for your mind and heart today. Wherever you download podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and write a brief review, especially on iTunes? We're available on Stitcher and Spotify and a whole lot of other places. Thanks for being a subscriber. And please pass the word around so that others can find this podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about the 3H leader. It actually comes from a book, just about the time that you think everything that's ever been said on leadership has been said. You come across the book, and it's been some time ago that I came across this book, The 3H Leader by Brad Lomenick of the Catalyst organization. And the 3H, the H's stand for three words that begin with the letter H: humble, hungry, and hustle. In other words, it's be humble. That's stay hungry and always hustle. Now, I found this very intriguing. So let's look at those three. And I would highly recommend you get this book and you read it. Whether you're a Christian or in church work or in the secular world, really makes no difference. There are wonderful ways to apply the truths that he brings forth in this book. I can't recommend it highly enough. 3H leader, Brad Lomenick. But let's just look at the three that he talks about. Humble, as in always be humble. Humility is one of those interesting things that it's really hard to define. As a matter of fact, there are those who say the moment you think you have it, you don't have it. What does it mean to be humble? It really talks about who am I? How do you stay humble? How do you realize that it's not all about you, that you need to have the proper view toward yourself? Well, there are some areas that will help us stay humble. The first is to have good accountability structures. Whatever organization you're with, let's even use our families. I hope that your spouse is your accountability partner and that helps you to stay in the lane that you're supposed to be staying in. And we can have accountability partners for goals and all other kinds of things and mentors. But you need an accountability structure. I meet via telephone once a week, every Saturday morning, with three wonderful accountability partners who just a few months ago, I never even met them. They're in different industries than I'm in. They live in different parts of the country. I have never met any of them face to face. I'm sure we'll do that one of these days. But just knowing that I'm going to talk to them on Saturday and they're going to ask me how my week went, what went well and what didn't, keeps me motivated. And then I think men need other men and ladies need other ladies to keep them accountable. So do not overlook the accountability structures. Besides keeping you on the straight and narrow, keeping you working toward your vision and your goals, it also reminds us that we are not a self-made person and we really do need each other. So I would highly recommend, if you want to stay a humble leader, that you better have some accountability structures in place in your life. I think another way to keep humility to the forefront is to guard your heart. Don't begin to read your press clippings and believe them. Don't believe that you're above the law, above the rules, above contradiction. Guard your heart. It will help to keep you in a humble state. And then, again, I come from a Christian perspective, Christian worldview. I think it helps to stay humble by feeding your soul, whether that's reading the Word or praying or being in a Bible study or a small group. Nurture your soul. We are a whole being made up of components, but don't neglect the spiritual side or your soul. I think one of the things that has helped me in the lifetime of remaining humble is learning to laugh at yourself. There are some people that cannot laugh at themselves. They don't want to look human. They don't realize that the more human you are, the more effective leader you are, the more people will respect you. Now notice I didn't say learn to laugh at others. No one likes to hear that. Learn to laugh at yourself. And I say it time and time again, he or she who learns to laugh at themselves will never run out of material. When you laugh at yourself, you break the tension of the moment. You allow those who are working with you and are around you to realize that, yes, I take my calling seriously, I take my responsibility seriously, but I don't take myself seriously. And learn to laugh at yourself. You're human, and humans do funny things, including you, my leader friend. I think one more item that will help you to maintain a spirit of humility is remember, you are a mere mortal. Mere mortals make mistakes. Mere mortals have problems. For mortals, things don't always work out as we hope and believe they will be. And it's okay. It really is okay. The leaders that you and I, in retrospect, look back with great admiration and fondness, I'm going to tell you, nobody views a haughty leader in that manner. It's the ones who were humble, who modeled humility, and were yet effective leaders. They are the people that, looking back in retrospect, we say that was a good leader. So leader, the very first thing to remember is to be humble. The next one is stay hungry. Don't become satisfied. Someone has said that it's not our failures that can derail us, it's our past successes. I think there is this attitude that I was successful in my last assignment, or I brought that project in under budget and on time. And we begin to think, well, that I can just coast because I know what I'm doing and it all just flows and it all comes together. If you get to the point that you think because you've had some successes under your belt and that you don't have to hustle and you don't have to remain hungry, what that does is it leads to an attitude of coasting. I don't have to continually improve. I don't have to try to get better. I am really good. And to stay hungry means I want to go further than where I am now. I'm not satisfied with the status quo. I believe I as a person can do better. I can improve. My organization can improve. Remain hungry. This one way that you do that is don't lose curiosity. Do you wonder how things work? Do you wonder about how could we do this more efficiently and more effectively? How can I make some adjustments there? Never lose your sense of curiosity. I think to stay hungry, you have to have passion for what you do. Are you passionate about what you've been called to do, what you are doing, the things that you are involved with in your family, in your home, in your church, in whatever organization you volunteer with, and yes, even at work? Don't become satisfied. Don't coast. Get used to constant and continual improvement, and don't lose your passion. And then the third thing that Brad talks about in his book is hustle. Always hustle. How will I get there? Don't again start coasting. Hustle is the opposite of laziness. Now, in certain quarters of our world today, my friends, there seems to be an epidemic of laziness. You hear continually in homes, in organizations throughout the world, this idea, either expressed or unexpressed, but apparent by the attitude, that someone owes me something. My parents owe me, my teachers, the pastor, my boss, my spouse, my children, my parent, the government, and on it goes. Here's something you're going to have to deal with if you're going to be an effective leader. No one anywhere at any time owes you anything. Everything you and I receive is a gift, and it's all by grace. And so no one owes you anything. You have to always hustle. How are you going to get there? How are you going to do it? You see, the people who hustle have a stick-to-itiveness about them. Another word that we've used on this podcast is the word grit. They just stick with it. Every one of us are tempted from time and time to give up and to quit. But if you're going to always hustle, you got to stick with it. Hustle also means it's not just enough to have a good plan and good procedures for reaching the plan. You have to stay long enough and work at it until you get it executed. Also, if you're going to always hustle, you're going to have to partner up with others who can help you move the needle, keep moving things forward. I remember at a meeting I was in, I was about 40 years old, and I had taken an assignment that was rather difficult. My denominational leader at the top of that organization motioned for me to come over and stand by where he was standing after he had spoken at a meeting. And he said to me, "Ron, how is it going?" And I said, "Some days it's going very well. Other days it's like draining the swamp and wrestling alligators." And I went back and forth with all that. And he stuck his long finger up very close to my face and said, "Ron, let me tell you what my old dad used to say. If they pay you money for it, there's a trick to it." Here's what the good doctor was telling me on that evening. He was telling me, nobody owes you anything. If there wasn't a trick to it, because it's not easy, we need a leader. You're the one. Quit complaining, quit whining, quit crying, put your head down, stick with it. There's a trick to it. Well, leader today, make up your mind. You're going to remain humble. You're going to be a humble leader. Stay hungry, never get satisfied. Don't go into coasting. It's too soon. I don't care how close you are to retirement. Do not coast. Stay hungry. Always hustle. Don't be lazy. No one owes you anything. Keep executing. Keep the passion. And remember, if it were easy, somebody else would have had the job before you. You are an effective leader. You've been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Wherever you download podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom and leave a rating and a brief review? I can't explain to you how helpful that is. And spread the word and tell your friends as well. Until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, leader, you're doing better than you think you are. Stay humble, hungry, and keep hustling. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.